during the Give One, Get One activity is the fundamental work for root cause analysis. Did you find colleagues who had a different reason a student may have answered a question incorrectly? The more reasons for why students answered a question incorrectly give you a broader base to consider when thinking of learning strategies you can use to assist students in learning new skills, refining old skills, and mastering discipline-specific skills and practices. The work that you engaged in is a root cause analysis. First, the identified problem was the student answered the question incorrectly. Then you generated ideas of why the students may have answered the question incorrectly. And finally, you identified strategies to teach the skills to students. This is really hard work. However, it does help us identify what we need to teach and consider what best practices will support student learning. Each optional pre-assessment comes with a root cause analysis chart. It includes the item number, the category, for example, multiple choice, the correct answer, a description of what the student is supposed to do, standards language. Incorrect answer indicator is the column where the possible root cause is identified. The final column provides teaching strategies that can be used when reviewing the assessment and a teaching strategy that can be used as part of classroom practice. Question 1 was a vocabulary question. The vocabulary could be discipline-specific, Tier 3, or academic language, Tier 2. The language in the 8th grade assessment is academic language embedded in a primary source document. The answer choices were selected from the ACT, SAT, PSAT top 100 words. Based on the question, 2 potential root causes were identified. They didn't know the meaning of the word, or they did not use the context clues to assist them in identifying the meaning of the word. Definition of each word as stated on the top 100 is included. Just for your information, school districts across the U.S. intentionally teach the academic vocabulary of the ACT, SAT, and PSAT. In the 2017 Back to School PL for Social Studies, we discussed this. Teaching our students the academic vocabulary of these high-stakes tests gives them an academic advantage. There are 2 strategies provided to support you in teaching in the root cause. Each of these strategies are included in your teacher resource guide. As you review the assessment for your course and grade level, you will notice that the root cause analysis has ideas for promoting student learning while reviewing the assessment and strategies that can be used during teaching. For example, question 2 on the assessment was focused on summarizing. Let's take a moment and apply the after-test review strategy. Let's think about the assessment from the student perspective. They just took a pre-assessment and they are looking at the results. Typically, students look for the number they got right or their percentage. A pre-assessment is not for a grade. It's designed to guide student learning for you and for your students. To use the pre-assessment most effectively, you want to take time to explain why the students may have missed a question and provide a strategy to support them in the future. So here's question 2. The skill the students are applying is the skill of summarizing. Review the prompt with your students and explain the question was asking them to summarize. Explain to the students that many students in the class found this particular question challenging, so therefore you're going to take time to introduce them to a strategy to help them in summarizing. Here's the after the pre-assessment summarizing strategy. First, the students are going to read the paragraph independently and write down their summary. Then, with a partner, they're going to create a shared summary. Next, with a partner, they're going to look at the answers and select the best choice. Once the students have selected the best choice, you will discuss the miscues based on the possible choices. Remind the students that reading a primary source document is often challenging in itself because the language may be from a different time period, as this personal account was from the early 1900s, and this change in time period will make summarizing sometimes more challenging than summarizing a more contemporary piece. The classroom instructional practices, including the root cause analysis chart, provide ideas to teach the skill to students throughout the school year. An added bonus of reviewing the questions with students after pre-assessment and telling the students the skill that they are working on is a simple reminder when you're going to introduce a new classroom practice. For example, remember on the pre-assessment when we discussed how to summarize, Well, what we are doing today will help you refine your skill in summarizing. One-pagers for many of the instructional strategies are included in the classroom practice folder linked to the professional learning. Finally, just a few teacher-to-teacher tips. An assessment review is time-consuming. However, it can provide direction in guiding your instruction and empowering your students, so therefore it's time well spent. Allocate one class period to review the multiple choice section of the pre-assessment. Some ideas for this is to print the student responses so they can use their assessment to take notes. Have the students peruse the assessment and have them place a star by any question where they may have just guessed. For the questions that you're not going to teach the skill as part of the post-assessment review, quickly go through the assessment and tell the students the skill that was being assessed. For example, question 1 was vocabulary using unknown words or context clues. Take a screenshot of the assessment results and crop off the student names. Discuss results with the students and have them look at the data like we do. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Select the 3 or 4 most missed questions to apply the after assessment learning strategy. This really helps in streamlining your work, and have the students complete the GPA for one skill where they struggled.